Come on, InuYasha. Now don't get so riled up.
Who said I was riled up?
His jealousy is flattering, sure, but I wouldn't mind if he was a bit nicer. You're exhausting.
Huh? You mean you really are tired of being with me?
Huh? What are you getting all depressed for? Don't worry about what Koga told you, InuYasha.
He's more concerned about what you told him, Kagome.
Mm-hmm. Huh?
Hey guys, it's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the InuYasha V-Logs. Now, oh man, I've been looking forward to talking about this arc. This is the Fateful Night in Togenkyo arc. This is a two-part episode series. Bear in mind, it is still filler, which I'm, look, these filler episodes are not fun to talk about. But this is one I can actually really enjoy because there is a bit of back history behind this, and there's also some interesting stuff that happens in this episode. But before we do, obviously, let's talk about the plot of this episode. So, Sango has basically had to leave the group in order to go back to her village to reforge Hyade codes because it was severely damaged during the last battle. So, it leaves InuYasha, Moroku, Moroku, Shippo, and all them kind of on their own to kind of continue the quest without Sango, and without Kilala, obviously. But even then, even Kagome's thinking, I want to head back. I gotta do some studying and stuff in my world. So, you know, obviously she wants to go back and, do her studying and her homework. And there's a great dream sequence in this where you get to see her running away. Oh no, that was actually the Shippo arc, I forgot. She's running away. She thinks she's having a nightmare about Naraku, but it turns out to be about her studies. But there's a lot of those jokes in these few episodes, which I actually thought were pretty funny, was seeing Kagome have nightmares and visions about, doing, either flunking her test or passing, which is pretty fun and entertaining. I think that was actually some pretty clever humor there. But the episode really begins with our group as they decide, let's all take a break. But as they head back, they come across a village that has, once again, a demon is causing problems. But this demon is different. It's like a weird peach, big, tubby, fat-looking demon, and he's voiced by, I believe it's Paul Dobson, because it's funny, because this is the Ocean dub I'm watching of InuYasha. This is the most common dub in English, but what's funny about it is that half of these guys worked on Dragon Ball Z, the original Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, and the voice of the Peach Demon in this, I swear to God, I'm like, that's just Garlic Jr. from Dragon Ball Z. I'm like, it's the same voice. But in terms of, what this demon does, he sucks you up in this little jar and makes you shrink. So, it's one part almost James the Giant Peach meets Honey, We Shrunk the Audience, or Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So, that's actually pretty clever. And basically, their group goes to try to figure out what's happening. InuYasha gets sucked into the little bottle and shrinks, leaves Tetsaiga to the demon. But then Kagome, Moroku, and Shippo try to intervene and stop him, and then they get put in this little miniature village thing, this little diorama the guy has, which is pretty cool. This guy's place is actually pretty kick-ass. He's got a diorama, he's got a weapon stack, he's got all kinds of stuff. It just reminds me of my place. But basically, InuYasha's stuck in the jar. It's also the night of the new moon, because he's turning part human again. He's becoming human, so he's more vulnerable. So the stakes are definitely raised in this episode, and from what I heard, a lot of people like this two-part filler arc, which I don't get. It's not really an aspect of the story, but you'll see why in a sec. So, obviously, InuYasha gets out of the bottle, but is trapped by the demon again. He accidentally brings out that Kagome is around, so the Peach Demon's like, Kagome, is that a girl? Ooh, a girl. So, he finds her in the diorama, grabs her, undresses her, mind you, off-screen, by the way. This is a PG-13 show for the anti-Sethrin fans. You're saying it's a kid show. It's not a kid show! It's PG-13! Why are you letting your kid watch this? Stop it! I mean, I had to wait till I was 13 to watch the damn show. But anyway, so It has a very interesting scene where obviously InuYasha gets out of the trap laid by the Peach Demon, but he's completely covered in injuries and everything because he's human. He's still losing a lot of blood. But he goes to rescue Kagome, who is bathing in a really hot bath, and I can see why people like this arc, because now we're in part 2. Basically, there is some this is a very steamy episode. The last arc was, the last episode vlog we did was a very misty episode. This is a very steamy episode. I mean, this is kind of an erotic, this is a sexy set of episodes. So, basically, Kagome's bathing in this hot spring, and looks good for the most part. But then InuYasha bursts in like the Kool-Aid Man. It's like, Kagome! And she's like, InuYasha! And he said, literally just sees her naked and then turns around. It's like really good comedic timing here. And I remember this actually was used in a lot of the promos, this sequence on the Adult Swim promos, which was pretty cool. But basically, you know, he's like, okay, whatever. And he like takes off his robe of the fire rat and hands it to her so she can wear something, because who knows where her clothes are. So at least he's a gentleman. But there's some pretty good visuals in this episode. I mean, even when like InuYasha's down, bleeding out, and he's like injured, and Kagome's like covered with his robe, she's literally laying next to him naked, and it's like, dude, can you at least put the damn thing on before you lay next to him? Like, I get you guys are concerned, but it's like, lady, cover up. Come on, this is a very serious moment. But it's funny, because like Shippo and Moroku are on InuYasha's head, they're still shrunk. They see Kagome, and Kagome screams. I'm like, okay, that's funny. But the episode ends where they get away, they do escape from the Peach Demon's wrath, but InuYasha and him go over a cliff, like Two Towers Aragorn style, and basically he becomes half demon again. He gets Tetsaiga, he slays the demon with the Wind Scar, not the Backlash Blade this time. He's still trying to process that power, but eventually, you know, everybody thinks, oh, InuYasha's dead, oh no, but he's alive, and it leads to some more comedic timing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, that's the arc. It's very quick and simple to the point. Very quick and easy to sit through. I was surprised how fast it went. And, you know, a lot of people, like, I would say that this two-part arc, because it's filler, it's just pointless, it's stupid, it's bad, who cares? It doesn't add anything to the story. But a lot of fans really like this arc, and I think it's because of the bit more of the sort of eroticisms and romance between InuYasha and Kagome in this episode. And especially in part 2. So, and because it was promoted to death, it was used in a lot of commercials and stuff, it has been more so, like, the scene where InuYasha bursts in and accidentally sees her and turns away, that is one of the most iconic moments of the series for a lot of people, despite this being filler. And I think that's kind of fascinating. Now, yeah, like, it is a very much a very steamy episode, so, if that's your thing, I would say enjoy it. I actually was surprisingly entertained by this arc. I was very entertained. And a little bit of back history behind this arc. So, believe it or not, most people will think, well, this probably wasn't in the manga. It actually was. And believe it or not, this chapter in the manga actually happened before they met Sango. So, it was actually around the time that the Hell Painter episode happened, which is pretty fascinating. So, I don't know why it took them so long to adapt it. Maybe it was because of the content involved, but they finally got it going for Season 3. And this is where I think what happened is that they were trying to catch up with the manga, and Takahashi said, I need more time. Can you adapt something, like do a filler episode, or do something that you haven't adapted it from my novel? And they said, well, why don't we do that Peach Demon arc? We'll make it a 2-part arc so you can give you like 2 weeks extra time. She's like, okay, fine, go ahead. And I think that's probably what happened, is that they needed some more time, so they took a part of the manga that they didn't adapt and actually put it into the storyline. So it's kind of like basically when Takahashi did a epilogue chapter of the original manga that had Roothead and everything. It's kind of this last hurrah. Basically, that was sort of the setup for Yashahime that's happening now, which is pretty interesting. So it's funny how they're now taking storylines that were kind of left in the manga and actually bringing them now to the forefront for the show. And I think that's actually a really fascinating thing to do. So for me, yeah, like this does have a historical relevance in the plot where this storyline was supposed to happen earlier, but they decided to move it to this season. And that's why you don't see Sango in this arc. Because I guarantee when they were writing this, they're like, well, we can't have Sango in this because it's going to counterbalance what happens in the manga. So they're like, okay, well, why don't we write her out? And if that was the case with the last filler episode, the last filler episode does get a bit more points for actually, in terms of setting that up, so you can have this arc. And you know what? That is clever writing. Obviously, they wrote all these episodes ahead of time, and they knew how to plan it out right. So I'll give props to the writers on that front, that they actually were able to add more to the story. They were able to add more and let it so they could adapt this one they missed prior. So yeah, that in that sense, this makes this at least the last 3 episodes, that like the speech arc and the last one with the mist, it actually does make it a bit more relevant, which I would say is a massive prop to this series as a whole. So yeah, I really dug this arc. There's a lot of stuff, like a lot of cool visual imagery that happens here. There's a very intimidating demon, and there's also just some really good steamy, erotic, romantic chemistry between InuYasha and Kagome. So this is a great filler arc. I mean, I'm not a fan of filler, but this is one I would actually say, if you got some time, if you want some extra InuYasha content away from the story, or you want more, this one I'd actually say check it out. It's a decent arc, and it's no wonder a lot of fans do like this two-part episode. So I'm going to give this one probably a good, maybe about a 7.5. Like, this was pretty damn solid. 7.5 out of 10. It's worth seeking out if you just want some more good InuYasha content. And it does have some stuff going for it that I hopefully will build up over time. Unlike most filler episodes that don't really add anything to the story. So, yeah, 7.5 out of 10. Check it out. It's worth watching. And I would even say start Season 3 here is a good place. Skip the last 2 episodes. So that's it for this InuYasha V-Log, guys. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts on the Fateful Night and Togenkyo Part 1 and 2 arc. If you have your opinions and thoughts on this episode, let me know in the comment section below. And, of course, if you want to support our channel and see InuYasha V-Logs early, you can do so. Go online and link down below to our Patreon. Just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And on top of that, you can also, all the money and some of the funds are going to go towards an InuYasha fan film, and also support the channel. So any support, we really appreciate it, and your names will be in the credits of every vlog and every video we do. So there's that. So tune in next week when we take a look at another filler. God, there's so many fillers at the start of the season. They really needed more time to work on this, for Takahashi to work on the writing. But it is, again, a kind of a pointless filler, but you can see what Songo's doing on the sidelines. So, obviously, of course, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, saying, if your girlfriend is in a castle guarded by a giant peach demon, and she's bathing in a hot spring tub naked, show her some respect, cover your eyes, give her your kimono, and let her change. I can't think of a segue. So, I'll see you guys later. Take it easy.